You're listening to a Pave Media show.
Visit pavemedia.net for more podcasts and video entertainment.
So, John.
Yes?
I know you're very excited for this question. What would your porn name be?
Well, I do like a good porn star pun. I also like ones that reflect popular culture, so I think in tribute to, one of our favourite working actresses, Olivia Hole-slam, maybe?
Olivia Hole-slam?
Yeah. Well, what's yours?
Well, I've narrowed it down to two. I can't quite decide which one. Listeners, maybe you can help me.
Sure.
So it's between Sven Inches.
Sven Inches, okay, sure.
And one Stiffbone.
Juan, as in Juan
Stiffbone.
Okay. Seems more realistic than Sven Inches.
Okay, thanks for the confidence.
Yeah. Sure.
Great.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome everybody to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where we pitch prequels, sequels and spin-offs to films that don't have any. I'm Harry, and joining me as always is John.
Hello.
Who has just got back from Eurovision.
I have.
Care to tell us what Tel Aviv was like?
I mean, that's a podcast in itself. Hot.
Hot.
Very, very hot. It was...
you look like you've been hot for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I do not have the skin tone for the Middle East. That's one thing I learned. So, it was a lot. But I had a great time. It was very interesting, very educational. I have never seen more machine guns in my entire life. But, other than that, I had a good time.
Yeah, happy with Eurovision itself?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it wasn't my winner, but it was a decent song. The Netherlands won, in case you were wondering. I'm looking forward to going to Amsterdam next year. I have many fond memories of that city. Attached to that city, yeah.
Yes, don't we both?
Yeah. In many ways, the birthplace of this podcast.
Yeah. Anyway, on a not entirely different topic, Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, yes.
This is one of your choices.
It was, yeah, and there wasn't really a lot of rhyme or reason for this. It was just the fact that this has been on my list for a while. I really like this film.
It just came up.
It just popped up, and I just couldn't get it down again without, expelling it and just, So I thought, while I'm away for a couple of weeks, while Harry's missing me, I'll give him something to chew on for a couple of weeks and see what he thinks about it. Yeah. So, hence Boogie Nights. So what did you think of Boogie Nights? Cool.
Well, I didn't watch it for the 2 weeks you're away. I watched it this morning.
I'm unsurprised. Pretty standard you.
Yeah. I had a really good time with it. It's a tad longer than I'd have liked.
Yeah, I mean, it is 2.5 hours. So, yeah.
But
that's Paul Thomas Anderson. All of his films are way too long.
So what's he done before? I recognise his name.
So you'll have seen his film that we saw together. We didn't see it together actually, but we both saw Phantom Thread.
Oh yeah.
He also did a film. I don't know if you'll have seen any of the other ones he's done. A film called Magnolia, which is similar to this. It's like a big multiple cast kind of ensemble kind of film.
Yeah.
Which again has been on my list for a while, but it's even longer than this one. So I thought I'll break you with Boogie Nights, see how you feel. If you like it, we'll come to Magnolia. Not soon, but maybe at some point in the future.
Yep.
But yeah, don't worry. I'm going to give us a break from P.C. Anderson. But he did The Master. Did you ever see that?
Isn't Philip Seymour Hoffman in that?
He was, yes. He was
that his last film, wasn't it?
One of his last films, if not his last film, yeah. Oh, he did There Will Be Blood as well. Did you ever see that?
No.
No, Daniel Day-Lewis won an Oscar for that, yeah.
Sure.
Again, very, very long. Very good, but very, very long. That's kind of Paul Thomas Anderson's kind of gig. He does these very artistic, often with a huge cast, big themes, big topics. Yeah, often they get lots of Oscars. So, and this was kind of his breakthrough film. He had one film before this called Hard Eight, which was just kind of a indie kind of thing, I believe. And then this was his first big studio film. And it was obviously quite hard to get made because it was about the porn industry, which people were a bit nervous about. But it ended up doing really well. It got great reviews. It was nominated for several Oscars. Julianne Moore and Burt Reynolds were both nominated for acting Oscars. Neither won, but yeah, it was a big breakthrough for him. So, yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good choice.
Thank you. I'm really glad that you like this because given the kind of the length and the subject matter, it is the kind of thing that could have gone either way. But yeah, I'm glad you.
Well, the subject matter very much keeps you on your toes.
Well, yes,
it doesn't do. It doesn't sort of settle into anything for too long. Like there's bits where it's just kind of an erotic film for a little bit, then it turns into a bit of a comedy, and then it's like a bit more of a thriller sort of thing, and then just it's got a lot to it.
Well, I was going to ask you, what do you think this film's actually about? If you had to sum it up, not like a plot summary, but what do you think it's about? What do you think it's saying?
I don't know. Is it saying anything? just the porn industry
porn
in
industry.
different ways that... God, I don't know.
But do you know what I mean? Because it's hard to say because it's not got a very obvious like A to B plot structure. Like it's not just here's the story of. I mean, if you put it down really, really simplistically, it's the story of a guy with a massive cock.
Yeah,
that's basically what you put down. But I think my interpretation of the film is more about families, like weird, fucked up families, obviously, but like families that you choose rather than families that like you're born into, kind of thing. Because I feel like this. Even though this film has a lot of very dark and, a lot of the characters have a lot of problems, obviously, and the film doesn't shy away from that. I felt ultimately it was almost quite sweet considering the subject matter.
A lot of it was, yeah.
Yeah. Like, there was genuine affection between the characters a lot of the time. Like, even though they're in this situation that is filled with a lot of, quite upsetting stuff, and obviously they're not in the most... A lot of them go through a lot of really bad shit as a result of the industry that they're in and about the lifestyles that they're living. Ultimately... I felt at the end of it ended on kind of quite hopeful notes in many ways.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got to say, a film that plays that song by the Beach Boys.
Yeah, the soundtrack of this film I was going to get to is wonderful. Because it's set in the 70s, it's got a great, 60s, 70s soundtrack. Really, really nice. So, yeah.
And it plays in with the film really well. Like, the music's always very well picked for the theme that you're supposed to be kind of feeling.
Absolutely.
Hello, are you John?
Yes, ma'am.
Your agency recommends you very highly.
Well, I'm a really hard worker, and if you give me a job, I won't disappoint you.
Well, as you may or may not know, this is an important film for me. If it's not a hit, I'm going to get kicked out of my apartment. My landlord's a real jerk.
Really?
Why don't you take your pants off? It's important I get an idea of your size.
No problem.
I think that you have the job, but why don't I make sure of something? This is a giant cock.
Yeah, so this film is essentially... It's set in the 1970s. It was released in 1997, I think. It's set in the 1970s at the peak of the adult film era.
Yeah.
Back in the days when, obviously pre-internet, when porno movies were movies. Like, not just... Now, obviously, it's all amateur, shot in people's bedrooms and it's just sex scenes. Like, these were like... Burt Reynolds' character says at the beginning you can spend like $30,000, and that's in the 70s, so that'd be the equivalent of like $100,000, $150,000 now on these films. They were making movies that were being put out, because it's even before video and DVD, so they were being put out in cinemas, like specialist cinemas,
Well, yeah.
the cinemas.
Yeah.
So a porn star was, in their own small field, was a star, and a porn movie was a movie. And so it's set in kind of that time, and it kind of just takes you through a bunch of characters. The main character is Dirk Diggler. Well, his name's Adam something or other. I forget now. He has a real name.
Something very plain and boring.
Yeah, but then halfway through the film, he picks up his porn name, Dirk Diggler, and basically completely reinvents himself, and that's all he's ever known as after that point. But he's like a young kid. Like, I think he's supposed to be like 16 or 17. Which is pushing it a bit. Mark Wahlberg was about 25. Like, he wasn't old, but he was...
It's pushing it a bit, but also, like, it was still believable.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, it was just about believable, and it is set over multiple years.
Yeah. I think Mark Wahlberg is really, really good in this.
Oh, yeah, he's fantastic in this.
Yeah, this is his first... He had done other films, but this is his first big... Like, when people started to take him seriously. Because Mark Wahlberg was initially known as a pop star. He was in Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, which way before your time, but just... He was like a rapper.
Yeah.
And he was also a Calvin Klein model. That was the other thing. He did a lot of like adverts for Calvin Klein where he was like... Because he obviously he's proper ripped. He did a lot of stuff in his underpants, basically. So he wasn't someone who was taken... He was famous, but he wasn't someone people took particularly seriously. And then he made this, and people were like, whoa, he can really act. Like, and he wasn't nominated for an Oscar, and I think he should have been, because I think he is very, very good in this.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a bit robbed. Do you know who was the first choice for this film, who turned it down?
Believe it or not, I don't.
No? Okay. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been really good. I mean, this is really good too.
Yeah.
Wait, how old was Leo at this point?
Probably about Mark Wahlberg's age. I think they're about the same age. Maybe slightly younger.
Okay.
Just a pitch younger, but...
Okay, is it still like boyish Leo?
Yeah. Well, he basically... He turned this down to do...
Just after Titanic, wouldn't it
He
be?
turned this down to do Titanic. So this is Titanic era Leo.
Ah, okay, yeah. See, I don't know actually, because Leo really kind of has two phases of just being boyish Leo, where he did Titanic and Romeo and Juliet and stuff like that, and then just turning into an adult. And I'm not sure if he can bridge that gap without physically aging that.
No. Well, my reason I don't think it works is, and bear with me here, I don't think I would find Leonardo DiCaprio believable as a man with a 14-inch penis.
But Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, I do. I believe
Yeah.
that. Like, obviously he doesn't because that's freakish, and
Yeah.
you know, we'll get to the whole penis thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on.
How long have you went to say that?
Yeah, we'll get to the dick, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know. I can look at Mark Wahlberg and be like, yeah, he's probably pretty. I don't know. But I can buy that he's well hung.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen Leo's stuff. I imagine it's probably perfectly fine. Do you know what I mean? Though I'm not being mean. I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean like some people you can just tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think if Leonardo DiCaprio, if young Leonardo DiCaprio is walking around this film and everyone's like, "Wow, he's got a monster dick," which is a huge plot point in this film. It's like the main thing about his character. Wouldn't you just be like, "Really?" Whereas Mark Wahlberg, you're like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg carries himself in a way, and he just has that look where you think, well, maybe, you know.
Yeah, no. I think you make a good point.
Thank you. So Dirk Diggler or Adam something or other.
Just call him Dirk Diggler.
He's Dirk Diggler, sure. So he's like this fresh-faced 17-year-old kid. He's washing dishes in a nightclub, and he's got kind of a shitty home life. We only see a couple of scenes of his home life. It's not really a big plot point, but his mother is obviously very abusive. Possibly, she seems like she's mentally ill. Like they don't really dwell on it enough for you to really get a sense of it. But
yeah,
it felt like, I mean, you didn't see it, but I recently did a podcast, One Good Thing, on the film Mommy Dearest, which is about Joan Crawford and her alleged bipolar disorder and how she was very abusive to her children. And it really felt like that for me, where he just comes home from like work and his mother is just super abusive and just starts like ripping his room to shreds and calling him stupid and saying he's worthless and saying his girlfriend's a whore, all this kind of, and making him cry, and it's genuinely like upsetting to watch. But we don't really get a lot of that. Like for a 3-hour film, more or less, like it shows you that and then he runs away from home and then you never see any of that again. Which, fair enough, that's not the plot, but
I was kind of expecting him to go back to her at the end.
Yeah, you never know how if she found out that her son was like a porn star or
no.
Guess it's not her story, but yeah, that kind of sets up that he's kind of a slightly broken person, which is kind of a theme for a lot of the characters in this film. That you know they've come into maybe a bad choice of words. They've gravitated towards the adult film industry because they're all in some way a little bit broken, and we'll get to that when we talk about the other characters. But anyway, so he's just working this bar job in this club. Oh, can we talk about the opening scene? How good was that?
Remind me.
Really, really good Steadicam. I love a film that has a Steadicam opening. You know, where the camera pans into the club. You start outside the nightclub and then it pans in, and then it must have been a nightmare to shoot because it goes across and it's all one take, and you see it introduces basically every character.
Oh yes,
it's so good.
Yes, there's a lot of that in this film.
There is.
There's a lot of long takes when there's just a lot of different things happening, and yeah, I really appreciated it. I love takes like that.
Yeah, because they must be so hard to set up and do. But I think you see pretty much every major character in the first it's like probably a 3 or 4 minute shot. And it kind of, you stop on them, you hear bits of conversation, and it keeps moving around. You see someone else. Some of them just literally walk by and don't really have anything to do, but they're there. It's great. So you're introduced to all of these characters. So you see the nightclub is owned by Rodriguez, Luis Guzman's character. Yeah, the Latin guy, and you see him welcoming Burt Reynolds' character, Jack Horner, who's like this porn impresario, and his girlfriend, Julianne Moore's character, Amber Waves.
I don't know exactly what their relationship was, other than she's a porn star.
She's a porn star. They seem to be in a relationship, but obviously, her being a porn star, it doesn't seem to be exclusive by any means. And also, she goes to bed, and you don't get the sense that they share a bed necessarily.
Yeah, I was confused by his relationship to a few people, to be honest.
But they're obviously very close. And they
what was his relationship to what's-her-face with the roller skates?
Oh, Roller Girl. Again, I feel like, they're probably fucked if he wants to. But it seems like he's very much a father figure as well. It all gets very mixed up, especially like father and mother figures in this film. There's there's a lot of that getting mixed up in crazy ways. But ultimately, he's like the father figures of the whole porn group. You know, all of his actors, his gang. You know, it's like he keeps them all together and manages them, and that's his role basically. But anyway, he's walking into this club with Julianne Moore, Amber Waves, on his arm, and he's welcome to the club. It's obviously he's a regular. And then you see Roller Girl, who's working as a waitress, maybe. She's like rolling around, roller skating around. She's played by Heather Graham.
Yeah.
And then you're also introduced to Dirk Diggler, who is just washing dishes in the back. And it transpires that Dirk Diggler is already working as kind of a rent boy kind of thing, but like he's accepting money to let guys watch him jack off.
Yeah, I was wondering, how did Burt Reynolds know that.
I was wondering that too, because he says, I sense something in you.
Yeah, like, has he got good dongdar? I'm coining the phrase.
Yeah, no, that's a good phrase, yeah. No, I wasn't clear. I was like, is it just because he's obviously Mark Wahlberg and he's hot, and it's like, well, this guy might look good on camera? Is it that, or can he tell instantly, this guy's got a massive dick?
Yeah. Cause, like,
was that like a bonus?
I don't know, but...
Yeah, it's not entirely clear, but he basically sees something in him, and then the whole bunch of them, him and Julianne Moore and Roller Girl, they kind of almost like cultishly seduce him. They're like, come join us, join our gang, and it's like they take him back to the mansion where Burt Reynolds lives. He has sex with Roller Girl, to the tune of Brand New Key by Melanie. That I've got a brand new pair of roller skates. You've got a brand new kiss. Yeah, the use of it's not that the soundtrack is good. The way it's used is brilliant. Like,
that's what makes it.
Yeah. By the way, you were watching this, I guess, at home in the morning. I don't think it's really a morning film, but you watch most of your films in the morning, so fine.
11:30.
Well, okay, for you that's early morning, then, right? Yeah. I watched this on the plane back from Israel, and I was sat next to an actual rabbi. And I was sat watching this film, and I had no other time to watch it. I knew if I didn't watch it then I wouldn't have time, so I had to just keep watching and just be like, but like, yeah, so there were certain scenes, many scenes to be fair, when it just looked like I was clearly just watching porn. The roller girl sex scene being one of them, when you Heather Graham goes full frontal, and then it was uncomfortable, but
I'm sure
I just powered through. I was like, you know what, I'll never see this man again. But yeah, so as it turns out, Dirk Diggler has a monster penis, like 13 inches, I think they say it is. 13 or 14. I don't know if I'm
giving a number, but yeah, sure.
It's 13 or 14. It's like, definitely more than your average human. Yes. I mean, a little bit smaller than mine, but
Funny, yeah, great.
Yeah, brilliant. I would not want a 14-inch penis. That's like a disability. That is an affliction. That is not a benefit, that is an affliction. Like, you see it at the end, and it's not attractive. It's horrible.
No.
So he basically joins this porn family. So Burt Reynolds is the director of these films, and like we said, he's making porn movies, and he has this dream of making porno movies that are also like real movies that are artistic. He has a great speech when he's kind of trying to talk Dirk into joining the family about his dream of making the perfect porn film. The line is something like, I dream of making a film where when they spurt out their joy juice, they just have to sit in it because they want to know how the film's going to end. So funny, so good, and he says it completely deadpan, like straight faced.
Oh, that's gross.
No, I understand. You've got to get them in the theater, you know? You got to keep the seats full. But I don't want to make a film where they show up, they sit down, they jack off, and they get up and they get out before the story ends. It is my dream. It is my goal. It is my idea to make a film that the story just sucks them in. And when they spurt out that joy juice, they just gotta sit in it. They can't move until they find out how the story ends. You know, I want to make a film like that.
That's the thing, like, I think because obviously porn is so different now. Like, it's differently received, it's differently accessed. But like, that's what it would be like in the 70s. People would go to cinema screens, again, like specialists. It's not like you'd go to, like, Showcase or something, but there was dedicated porn theatres. And men, like grown men, would just sit in them and jack off, and then they'd leave.
Yeah. See, now the problem that I had with this was, we did see some of the porn films that he was making, and none of them seemed anything other than just, there's a bit of sort of plot at the start, of just like, oh, I've come to fix the printer or something, and then they just have sex, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I really want to stay and wait to see what happens at the end, because, like, I know what happens. You're just going to finish, and that's it.
Yeah. Well,
it wasn't like there was any kind of plot or intrigue or anything.
Well, that's the thing. I think,
have I been spoiled by modern porn or what?
Maybe.
What's porn like in the 70s?
Why are you asking me?
No reason.
Well, I think a lot of the comedy in this film derives from the gap between what they want to be making and what they think they're making versus what they're actually making. Because you see when later on he starts making the when him and John C. Reilly start making the films together, the Brooklanders and Chester Rockwell films.
Yes.
And they're terrible.
Yeah.
They're so hilariously terrible. But Burt Reynolds is almost in tears. He's like, this is the one they're going to remember me by. This is the one I want to be. So, like, I think there's aspect of delusion there. So no, they're not making great films. None of these are great films and none of these are great actors. Like, no, they can't act. Like, and that's very much the point. But in their minds, they're aspiring to something a little bit higher. And I think that's where a lot of the comedy and a bit of the pathos comes from. It's the sense that they are, at the end of the day, they are still just making wank films, you know. But they aspire to greater things. Yeah, they're not actually talented filmmakers though, because if they were, they'd be making real films.
Yeah, he does do a speech about how he's saying he never wants to win an Oscar or anything like that.
Sure.
He's not trying to. So.
No, actually, yes, that's a good speech as well, because I thought that was a nice defense of the porn industry in some ways. I mean, there's a lot wrong with the porn industry, and I'm not going to just go out and defend it all. But there's nothing morally wrong with just making a film for people to jack off to, because everyone jacks off, you know what I mean? So in that sense, I could see where they were coming from. So
yeah.
So I feel like this film is good at not judging its characters too much. It'd be very easy to just make a film that made fun of porn stars, or that was like, oh, what a sad life they live. And there are parts of this film that does both of those things, where you do laugh at them because they're a bit delusional and they're making, you know, not exactly high art. And there are bits of the film that are incredibly sad and upsetting that you think like, oh god, obviously this is clearly quite a damaging lifestyle. But ultimately the film doesn't judge them too harshly, I don't think. So ultimately what happens is that Dirk Diggler joins the crew, and he kind of becomes absorbed by this extended family of kind of porn stars, and they all seem to basically be very close to each other, and they all seem to either live or just always hang around at Burt Reynolds' house or mansion. Yeah. As well as Dirk Diggler and Jack Horner, there is Amber Waves, the Julianne Moore character. What did you think of her?
She was really good.
Actually, who was your standout character? Let's start with that and then work down.
Okay, standout character.
Other than maybe Dirk Diggler, because he's the star.
Yeah. I did quite like John C. Reilly.
So thin.
Yeah.
Very thin. A very thin John C. Reilly.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked good. As opposed to, say, Philip Seymour Hoffman, who did not look his best in this.
But, oh my god, how brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about John C. Reilly first. Or get to Philip Seymour. So, John C. Reilly's character, he plays kind of Dirk's best friend. So he's another porn actor, but they strike up a friendship, and they become when they start making the action cop movies, they are Brock Landers and Chesty. Yeah. Not Chesty. Oh, I keep forgetting it. Chest Rockwell. Yeah. I thought John C. Reilly was fantastic. Well, everyone was fantastic, but he plays this character who's kind of I think a character that everybody knows a version of that person who like is a bit of a compulsive liar and always has like, if you tell a story, they've always got a better story kind of thing. Yeah. But it's done in a way that's quite endearing. Like he's still obviously not a nasty person. He's quite sweet, but he just is a bit like at the beginning he's like, oh, people always say, because this film's obviously set in 1977. Everyone says I look like Harrison Ford. Do they really? I don't think they were. Like, yeah. And he's really into he does terrible poetry, and he thinks he can do a double backflip into the water and he can't. And he's a lot of fun in this film.
He is. He's really good.
Yeah. And then there's Philip Seymour Hoffman, who again one of my favourites as well. He plays Scotty, who's like the boom mic operator, and bless him.
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, he's gay. Like he's clearly gay. He falls in love with Dirk. He's got this really sad little unrequited crush on Dirk, and I love how he plays it like. For me, it was like he was a teenage boy.
It really was, wasn't it?
Like he wasn't. Obviously, the character and the actor are definitely in their 20s, if not a bit older. But everything about him just read like a bit of a teenage boy. Like
this is his first crush, sort of thing.
Totally, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The way he holds himself, like that scene when later on in the film when Dirk is getting told off by Burt Reynolds.
Oh yeah,
and Philip Seymour Hoffman's just in the background and he's
just reacting. Yeah.
Well, he's not even moving or anything. He's just looking super unhappy and stressed out, and you know, like his left hand is holding his right elbow or something, and he's just really tense and everything, and he just looks so uncomfortable. Yeah, and he just played it really well. I think he just found the one right pose and just froze, stayed still for the entire scene.
Well, his character doesn't have a lot of like big scenes, but he's always there. Like even when he's got no lines, he's always in the background, and you always kind of notice that he's still there. Even the way he dresses and everything, like. I think we all had that kid in school, knew that kid in school who like didn't wear the right clothes. Like the way all the clothes are obviously too small for him. Like, you know, like all his clothes are really ill-fitting, and he looks really uncomfortable. He the way he holds himself as well, like and the way he talks and everything. It's just he's a teenage boy with his first crush, and it's really funny. And his wig. I mean, we've not even started on the wigs. That's a whole different discussion. But
yeah, I think my favourite wig of the show has got to be. When Don Cheadle's having an identity crisis.
Oh, well, we'll get to Don Cheadle. We're going to get to Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle's outfits in this film are unbelievable. But, Well, should we get to him next? Because I think we've finished on.
So what was Don Cheadle's story? Because I never really could actually work out what his connection was to anything or anybody.
He was a porn actor. You never see him performing. You never see John C. Reilly actually doing porn, but he's introduced. Yeah, no, he's definitely one of the stars of the Burt Reynolds stable. But yeah, he's great. I feel like Don Cheadle. It reminded me how much I love Don Cheadle. So basically, his character is really, really into country and western music, and he works in like a stereo store.
He's so sold on the cowboy scene that, like, even though people are saying like, "Oh no, that fashion is gone," he's like, "It's going to come back."
Yeah,
It's definitely going to come back.
Yeah, exactly. He's super enthusiastic about it. Yeah, and he's just this big old nerd. And there's the bit where he's having like a pep talk from the other lady. She's like, you need to find your look. You need to find your look. And he's like, "What's your look? Chocolate love." She only had a few lines, but I loved her. She had some really good quotes. There's another bit, I think earlier on, where they're shooting a porn scene, and Burt Reynolds like, "Where are you going?" She's like, "I'm going to go wash my vagina." Yeah. He's like, "Well, hurry up. You want it clean, don't you?"
So many just simply read lines that were just normally... They would normally just be so awkward when people are saying, like, "Oh, I'm just going to powder my nose," or something like that. But this one, they're just not holding back.
No.
Baby, it's old. It's just plain old.
No, wait, let me tell you something,
Okay, let me
Becky.
break it down to you. First of all, he was obviously pissed off about the music, alright?
What's wrong with it, you know?
The cowboy look ended about 6 years ago.
It's coming back, though,
No,
Becky.
it's not. No, it's not. It's over. It's dead, okay?
I don't think you know what you're talking
Third,
about.
I do know what I'm talking about, alright? And listen to me, and it sounds like your boss has said the stereo store is saying the same thing.
What? What?
You have to get a new look.
Why don't you get a new look?
Well, I have a look, okay? The look I have is just fine.
What's your look?
Chocolate love, alright?
So yeah, he's this kind of really square, like really into his country and western music kind of thing, which isn't really working out for him. And then as the film goes on, you see him kind of experiment with different looks. And I laughed so hard when he had his Rick James makeover, which I think you also want with his wig and his big shoulder pads. And he looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah. It was great, wasn't it?
It was just, I nearly cried. I'd forgotten. I've seen this film before, but I'd completely forgotten that happened. And when it just cuts to him full on dressed as Rick James, oh, it's brilliant. And then he pulls his wig off, and he looks so tiny in that big outfit. It's great. And then at the end of the film, when he opens up his video store, when he makes his money, and he's kind of transitioned into kind of maybe like a Will Smith kind of vibe.
Perhaps, yeah.
It's too early for Will Smith.
I mean, I think he's got a comb in his hair as well. That's a big change from what he previously had.
Yeah, he's trying out a lot of different looks of like what's in style for at the time, but it's never, because his true self is he just loves his country music, and so it always looks uncomfortable, but it's great. And Don Cheadle plays it in a way that is just so endearing. It's great, yeah. What other characters haven't we talked about? So Julianne Moore.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over her.
She was my favourite. I think she is unbelievable in this film. It's such a beautiful character in many ways, because it's a she's a porn star, and she's like many of the characters. She's also a drug addict. Like she's a huge cocaine addict, and it's like that in itself is kind of a cliched character, but she plays it in this way that is she's so lovely. She's like this sad little bird. Like she really genuinely cares about everyone, and there's no moment when she's not being kind. And she's like I think she's like, in that way, she's the heart of the film. I mean, she's like the mother figure. Yeah. And you find out early on that she's a little bit older as well. Like I think Julianne Moore was like 35 or something when she made this film, and you can tell, like they never really discuss it, but you can tell that she's, for a porn star, she's not the same age as Heather Graham. She's a bit older, and there's definitely a time limit on what she can do, but the film never really talks about that particularly. She has a son from her previous marriage that's broken down, and the father has custody because obviously she's a porn star, and that's not a healthy environment for a kid. So she has limited custody, and at the end of the film she loses custody entirely of her child, and it's really sad. But you see that how she like makes Dirk Diggler into a surrogate son, like even though they're actively having sex on camera, she's just hugely maternal. And the same with Heather Graham as well. Like there's that. I think my favourite scene in the whole film might be the scene, even though in many ways it's hard to watch, is the scene when her and Heather Graham are just snorting line after line of cocaine. And it's really like, this film doesn't glamorize cocaine at all.
No, not at all.
It's really like, oh my god. They're both like super high and they're just freaking out. But where Heather Graham's like, "Can I call you mom? Can you be my mom?" And she's like, "Of course you can." And it's just really sweet. Everything she does is just super, super sweet. And I think she's
just so lovable in this.
She is. She's totally
Everybody is in love with her.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see why. You can absolutely see why. She's like this little oasis of warmth in this very strange, very dangerous industry. Right? So I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah.
And where's that honey?
I miss my two sons, you know. I miss my little Andrew and my Dirk. You know, I always felt like Dirk was my baby, my new baby. Don't you miss Dirk? Yeah. He's so fucking talented, the bastard. You know, I love him roller girling. I mean, I really love his stupid jerk. I love you, Mom. I want you to be my mom, Amber. Are you my mom? I'll ask you if you're my mom, okay? And you say yes, okay? Are you my mom? Yes, honey. Yes.
Now, there is one character that we've not really touched upon that much. William H. Macy.
Yes. Yeah, what are you doing of that?
I mean, initially I thought his character was hilarious. It was great comedy.
Yeah.
Of just like, well, his wife's always sleeping with a new person. Like, we literally never see her with clothes on. It's all funny and stuff like that until very suddenly it becomes very, very much not funny anymore.
Yeah, and I think that is the genius of Paul Thomas Anderson, because you're right, it changes the whole tone of the film, because that it does just become a scene of pure comedy. Like, in the first few times, basically, he's doing a classic William H. Macy. He's just playing like this sad sack, which he plays all the time. Like, you know, again, he's in a terrible wig.
Yeah.
And he's a cameraman maybe, or a producer or something.
Yeah, I think producer. I think.
Yeah,
I'm not
he's
too
working
sure.
behind the scenes anyway. And there's just a running joke where every time he goes to try and look for his wife, he will find her in bed with another man or multiple other men or something.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, God damn it, honey. There's that fabulous line where he says, my wife's got an ass in her cock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which apparently was he a mistake. Like, he flubbed his line.
Really?
He was meant to say, my wife's got a cock in her ass.
Yeah.
But he flubbed it and said, my wife's got an ass in her cock. And then P.T. Anderson was like, that's genius, keep it. Like,
Yeah. Great.
because you probably would like make a mistake and say something like that. I love it. It's so brilliant. But you're right, and then it turns. It completely turns, because the New Year's party, and again, for maybe the third or fourth time in the film, he walks in and sees his wife having sex with a guy, and he very, very calmly walks out the room, and the camera just follows him, and he walks to his car, picks up a gun, walks out.
He just gets something out of the kind of him.
You can't see what it is. Could you tell what was going to happen?
No.
Were you surprised by this?
Really didn't know. I was just like, he left the drink on the roof of his car. Like, that was my main concern.
Priorities,
at that point.
yeah. And he just walks into the room and shoots them both dead, and then walks out and shoots himself in the face.
Yeah, and it's like right at the countdown of New Year's.
Yeah.
Ruin the party for everyone.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that happens like literally halfway through the film, and I think it's a real turning point, because that's when things start to go. I think the first half of this film is mostly quite fun.
Oh yeah, definitely is. Like, it's absolutely the story of how, what's Mark Wahlberg's name again?
Dirk Diggler.
Dirk Diggler, about how he just becomes the best porn star that there is.
Yeah.
And it's just the rise of Dirk Diggler until the end of the 80s, and it's all happy and everything's going perfectly, and you know, anybody who's ever like seen a film or read a story knows that that's the point where it's suddenly all about to come falling down.
Yeah.
And yeah, it did, but just not in a way that I predicted, even slightly.
No, but I think it's a really good turning point, because again, you don't see the reaction. You don't really see what happens immediately after that. The film never shows you the other characters like finding the body or how they call the police or anything. It cuts like 2 years later or something.
Yeah.
But even so, that's the moment when.
Well, it cuts to a montage of interviews with like Dirk Diggler and other people talking about violence towards women. And yeah, I mean, they never really sort of agree on a point or anything. They're just talking about it. But yeah, and then it becomes a much more serious film.
It does, yeah. And to be fair, even before the William H. Macy murder scene, they drop in little hints that things aren't as kind of cool as it's looking. Because in that first beach party, when he first becomes friends with John C. Reilly, all that stuff's happening, and he meets Seymour Hoffman's character. But there's also a girl comes to the party with the Colonel, who is like an older man.
Yeah.
The older man who I think he's like finance. He's like the money man. He's like funding them all the. He's like friends with Burt Reynolds' character.
Yeah.
Anyway, he brings like a very young girl to the party who's like his date. He's like clearly like 30 years younger than him. And she's like, "So you got any cocaine at this party?" And then a couple of scenes later, you see basically she's fully OD'd and like she's like lying in the lap of this young guy and is just covered in blood and like her nose is basically exploded. And you never find out if she lives or dies.
No.
And then it's like funny and upsetting when the guy says, "This is the second time in 2 days that some chick has OD'd," you know. So you that's when you really first see that there's a very dark side to all the kind of fun and games that we're watching. So those little breadcrumbs are really good. The film does that very well. It kind of shows you the dark side, but it doesn't like whack you over the head too much. It like just every now and again reminds you, okay, yes, it's probably fun, but also, you know, there's some stuff happening here.
Yep, I agree.
I think she's sick.
Oh, what the fuck is this?
I didn't do anything. I didn't.
Is she breathing?
I don't know. I think maybe she did too much coke.
Oh, do you think so, Doctor?
No, this girl's definitely OD'd.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, I want you to handle this for me, Johnny. Listening to me?
Yeah.
Pick her up, get her in the car, and drive her to St. Joe's.
Yeah.
Drop her off in the front. I don't want any of it. You understand?
Got you.
Right. Make sure no one sees the living.
Got it.
What the fuck is this?
This is twice in 2 days and the chick is OD'd on me.
Well, do you think this means that maybe you ought to think about getting some new shit? What do you think?
Yes, sir.
What did you think of the scene with him and Julianne Moore when they're actually shooting their first porn together?
I thought it was really well put together scene. I loved the comedy element of everybody reacting to seeing his dick for the first time.
That's great. I mean, there's so much of that in this film. Like, that's one of my drinking games, is every time anyone reacts to his dick. Because the film doesn't show you his dick to the last shot.
No.
But you get a lot of people seeing it and reacting to it, and it's always great. John C. Reilly might be my favourite. He's just sat in a chair, and you just see him kind of turn his head to the side, just be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I thought this was a really good scene for Julianne Moore's character, because like Dirk's very young and inexperienced. He's never done a porn before, and so she's really like mothering him and guiding. It feels weird to say mothering, even though like he's fucking her, but it really is that mother-son relationship. She's being very tender with him. He says like, "Where do you want me to come?"
Yeah.
And she's like, well, wherever you want to. And he's like, well, you tell me. I want you to know. He's like, well, come on, my tits. And it's weird to hear that line be said, and it to be like a very like sweet like.
Yeah.
If that's what if you feel comfortable, honey, just come on, my tits. It's fine. It's just, I mean, though it is. It's sweet in a weird way. But then it's at the end when it's actually happening, she's obviously enjoying it so much. She says, "No, come inside me." And so they do, and then it's, oh, we fucked the shot up. And then he just goes, well, I could do it again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I miss being 17. Oh, those were the days. Anyway. But anyway, he becomes like a superstar. You see there's like a great montage of him like winning all the Porny Awards.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they were called, but I thought of them as the Porny Awards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also, there's a bit of them reading like reviews of the films, and it's reading like a review of like an Oscar film or something. And I just thought to myself, where are these reviews being published? Were they really like porn broadsheets? Maybe they were, I don't know, but the reviews were written like professional movie reviews. It was like, you know, Dirk Diggler is a revelation, and Amber Waves takes that cock like, you know, like a...
Well, I mean, how do you know what porn to go watch?
I guess it must have been in broadsheets, yeah, because there was no internet, so maybe there were like porn journalists whose job was to, you know, like a theatre journalist, his job is to go to the theatre 3 times a week and write about the latest plays. Maybe there was a journalist whose job was just to go to all the porn theatres and be like, well, this is a really good one, this one's shit, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
I'd love if there was like a Rotten Tomatoes, but for porn.
I might look into this, actually. I might discover some very interesting things.
Definitely, yeah, I think this is something we can look into. Listeners, let us know.
It's going to revolutionise porn.
Do you think we should set up Rotten Tomatoes, but for porn?
What would you call it?
I think the word rotten should stay out of it.
Yeah, that's
not a word you want to associate with any kind of sex organ.
Juicy tomatoes?
Juicy tomatoes, okay. Yeah, that could work, yeah. What does RuPaul always refer to? Oh, eggplant. Eggplant, that's the one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, eggplant. That'd be a good one. Eggplantemoji.com.
How is that? It's not a pun on Rotten Tomatoes, though.
No, but it's using like fruit and veg, and, you know... I mean, listeners, let us know. We're going to crowdsource all porn review. This is going to be a whole new venture for Beyond the Box Set. We're just going to review all the porn.
My vote is still with Juicy Tomatoes.
Juicy Tomatoes, okay. Yeah. But what's a tomato in this?
Well, it just links it to Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, sure. I don't know, is there any part of the male or female anatomy that you would be comfortable calling a tomato, though?
No, not really.
It's not very sexy. No.
Like melons and grapes.
Melons and grapes, yeah.
Those are the only fruits that you get, really.
Yeah. Bananas, obviously. Eggplants, but... ChocolateStarfish.com?
What? I'm not going to ask. Let's just move on.
You know what a chocolate starfish
just
is.
Move on, please.
I'm sure it already exists. Chocolate Starfish, yes. ChocolateStarfish.com, coming soon from Beyond the Box Set. Yeah, so he becomes this huge big star after they make all these porn films. He wins all the awards, becomes like the biggest star in the industry at the time. Then we get the New Year's Eve party, which we talked about, where William H. Macy ends up shooting himself and his wife, and that feels like a bit of a turning point, and the film starts to go on this kind of... the first half of the film is like the rise, the second half of the film is kind of the fall. So then we see the fall. So we see how cocaine is a huge part of this film. Like all the characters are massively into cocaine.
Yeah.
And I feel like Dirk's character becomes increasingly more cocaine addicted as the film goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And also because he's the biggest star in the industry, his ego kind of grows. So he has this huge fallout. Yeah, and he quits basically. And he thinks he can go solo. And then it cuts to him and John C. Reilly making a terrible, terrible single together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that.
It was so funny because you've got Mark Wahlberg in the studio singing horribly off key, just sounding awful, and you've just got John C. Reilly in the studio just being like really into it, so loving it.
Yeah.
Like, they record this demo single, and it's obviously terrible. But then they're basically, because of the cocaine and everything, they're running out of money, and they can't afford to get the demo out to the record companies, basically.
Yeah.
So they're having a lot of problems. Also, the Colonel, who is Jack Horner's friend. Well, Jack finds out that video is starting to come in. He gets an offer from his colleagues to like stop making these serious cinema released porn movies and start making like cheap and cheerful straight to video stuff. And he's like, that's not what I want to do. I'm like an auteur. I'm an artist. I don't want to make cheap video porn.
Yeah.
But you can kind of sense, obviously, because knowing from the 21st century perspective, we know where porn's going to go. It's not going to work out for him. So he's obviously fighting against the turn of the tide. And then his friend, the Colonel, ends up getting arrested, and turns out that he's got a load of he's been arrested with child porn. Well, he was arrested because he slept with a 15-year-old girl who then overdosed on a load of cocaine and possibly died. And then it's a very disturbing scene. It's very well done where they're both in prison. He's talking to him through the prison glass.
Yeah.
And then he kind of this guy, the Colonel, ever so slowly confesses the fact that he was also, when the police raided his place, they found a load of actual child porn.
Yeah.
And it's a rough scene, but it's really well done.
Wasn't it actual children?
I think it was child porn.
Because he was saying it's like he finds them really cute, but he never touched them or something.
Yeah, but I think I understood. I didn't understand that to be that he had like a load of child prisoners.
Right.
I mean, I might be wrong. I assumed that it just meant that he had lots of child porn in his house. You know.
Either or, the message is there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Either way, yeah, disturbing scene, but very well done.
I found something at the house. What?
There's something. It's
Jack, it's my fucking weakness, Jack. It's just... They're so small, Jack, and they're so cute, and they're so adorable.
I just can't help it when
They're so cute and adorable, right?
No, Jack, listen. I don't touch them, Jack.
I don't touch them in any way, honestly.
Jack, please.
Okay, we get to one of the key scenes in the film now, I think.
Okay.
What did you think of the scene where Dirk and John C. Reilly and the other guy, Thomas Jane's character, go to the crazy cocaine fiend's house to try and sell him fake coke?
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
So tense.
That felt very Pulp Fiction-y.
Very, very Tarantino in this scene. I would agree, yeah.
Yeah, because... Who is it? Is it Alfred Molina?
It's Alfred Molina, yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the all-time great one-scene character performances.
Yeah. He's
literally just in this one scene, and he should have won an Oscar. Like, he is legit terrifying. So good.
It's such an incredibly weird and well put together scene because the entire thing is kind of pretty much soundtracked by just this random person who's just setting off firecrackers everywhere, and all the main characters are jumping at every single one because they think it's a gunshot,
and it just
realistically
gets funnier.
So.
It just gets it's classic comedy of repetition because it just keeps getting funnier.
Yeah.
So Alfred Molina is playing this character who is, I don't remember his name, but he is like, they're all on cocaine, but he is coked up to the absolute max. He is insane, and he makes them play Russian roulette. Well, he plays Russian roulette with himself.
Yeah, they don't play. No. He plays with himself twice
for no reason. Yeah, nobody's asking him to, and he's got this friend, rent boy, who knows? But there's a little Chinese kid in the room who never has any lines. And this is, again, you're right. This is a very Tarantino-y kind of thing. Just setting up, throwing firecrackers around you.
Which I just think, why? That's going to cause so much damage to the house. Little burn marks on the walls and carpets everywhere.
Do you think Alfred Molina cared? Do you really think he gave a shit?
Well, yeah, probably not.
Yeah. But these firecrackers keep exploding really loudly, and it's throughout the scene, while other crazy shit's going on with Alfred Molina, where he is like sticking a gun in his mouth and, you know, dancing around to Jessie's girl, just all this crazy shit. 99 red balloons.
Like, that song came on, and I recognised it. I recognised the start of it, and I was like, is this about to build into sort of like an action sequence? Because this song feels like it could be an action sequence sort of gunfight thing.
Well, it kind of does.
So they're doing a drug deal, right?
Yeah. The idea is that Mark Wahlberg and John C. Reilly and Thomas Jane are selling a giant bag of baking soda, and that's what makes it
Yeah.
really tense. They're selling fake cocaine.
Yeah.
It's a terrible plan.
Yeah.
They're trying to sell fake cocaine to a mega rich cocaine addict, and his bodyguard is basically testing the cocaine, and you know he's going to figure out it's baking soda super fast. You see that the bodyguard's got a gun. John C. Reilly and Mark Wahlberg see that he's got a gun, and they're like, we need to get out of here right now. But they end up staying, and it all just plays out, where Alfred Molina is dancing around to this terrible 80s pop music, playing Russian roulette with himself, just super in his Y fronts as well, just wearing wearing Y fronts, which just adds to the tension.
Yeah.
While the bodyguard's looking at the cocaine with his gun, while a random Chinese guy throws firecrackers. It's so much. But all throughout the whole thing, like, you just see John C. Reilly and Mark Wahlberg just every 10 seconds or so just being like, just jumping to this firecracker noises. It's inspired. It's truly brilliant. Like, I was utterly gripped for this scene.
Yeah. Very, very good scene.
Yeah. So yeah, then he hits complete rock bottom and ends up going back to Jack and begging for forgiveness. And then there's this really sweet scene where, again, like, the Burt Reynolds character, he just kind of hugs him. Then he's like crying, he's weeping, and he's literally in Julianne Moore's lap, and she's stroking his hair, and like, again, just being so maternal with him. And just, it's, considering how rock bottom all these characters are at that point, it's just, it's sweet. It's genuinely sweet.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just become like a happy porno family. And there's another big tracking shot at the end, which is kind of a mirror of the tracking shot from the beginning, where it pans across Jack's house, and you've got Jack walking around like the dad of the family, just looking after everyone.
Do they all live there at this point?
It seems like they're just a commune, yeah.
Yeah.
Roller Girl's gone back to school, but she's still living with them. Julianne Moore's just looking into the mirror, getting ready, and Burt Reynolds says, I'm looking at the foxiest bitch in the whole 7 lands or whatever. Yeah. And then we get to the final shot of the film, which is Dirk Diggler. He's back into the porn industry again, I guess. And he gives this whole very Robert De Niro in Raging Bull speech into the mirror, and then he stands up, and we finally see it. He pulls down his pants, and we see the dick. And thus ends the movie.
I'm looking at your body language right now. You look so excited.
There was nothing about me that was excited by seeing that cock. That was disgusting.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, that is not appealing to me. I mean, to each their own, but no, it was gross. But I also enjoyed watching it. Not from like a titillation perspective, just like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you know, come on, you must have been a little bit like,
Oh yeah, definitely. I was like, oh, yeah, like
there it is. Yeah,
it's there.
Again, funny interview with P.T. Anderson where he was talking about like when they decided to show it, like, because obviously it's the point of the whole movie in many ways. And he said he wanted the moment when they found, these are his words, he wanted the moment when the audience finally sees the dick. He said he wanted it to be like the scene in the first Jurassic Park movie where they first see the dinosaur.
I'm sure there must be a cut online of somebody.
Yeah, because you'd have seen him where like Laura Dern's like, and and Sam Neill
the John
jumps
Williams
out.
music comes
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk about it for that entire film and not show it, so I think it's genius to leave it to the very last shot.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely is.
And I think the final line is, "I'm a goddamn superstar."
Yeah.
And
it's good.
Yeah,
it's good. Well done, John. Well done. You've done well this week.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew you'd enjoy it. Well, I hoped you'd enjoy this. And, yeah.
I am a star. I'm a star, I'm a star, I'm a star. I am a big, bright, shining star.
Okay, so before we talk about sequels, we'll just want to let you listeners know
We haven't done drinking games.
that we do drinking games for our films.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, sorry.
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay, my first drinking game is one that we have already mentioned, which is drink for reaction shots to Marky Mark's penis.
I have that too, yeah. I mean, every character has a moment when they
first
react.
See
every
it,
other character basically
there's a
reacts.
hesitation and
It's great, yeah.
Yeah.
It did kind of make me think, like, one of the key lines in the film, Dirk Diggler's character kind of says, everyone has that one special thing, and this is mine. And I made me think, like, imagine if, like, the thing that was most impressive about you, the thing that, like, defined you as a human being,
not skill,
was the size of your cock.
Yeah.
I think, obviously,
and he justified it to himself that he was using it to help others.
Yeah.
And, like, arguably he was.
Yeah, in his way, absolutely.
Yeah. But, all right.
I think that's maybe the key to the film in many ways. I think it's a really good, like, slightly sad character study about like what that does to him psychologically. Like that's the thing that is most valued about him. Like, yeah, it's gotta suck. I'm glad I have a mere 9 inches. Yeah.
Well done.
But okay, drink for wigs.
Drink for wigs.
We need to take a moment for the wigs. We can't just skim over the wigs. Did you have a preferred wig? Because every character, mostly.
Don Cheadle's was good. Philip Seymour Hoffman's was pretty
spectacular.
Pretty spectacular, yeah.
William Macy's pretty good as well.
His was good. I quite like Burt Reynolds.
I guess that was... Oh yeah, that probably was a wig.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that wig came with the actor, though. I don't think that was a character wig. I think that was that's the wig that Burt Reynolds is wearing at this point in his life.
Okay, yeah, sure. But, like, it's a good-looking wig. I could definitely see myself in a similar number.
I could absolutely see that for you, yeah.
Okay, my next one is Drink for Tits.
Drink for Tits, sure. Yeah. There's a lot of tits in this film.
There's a fair few, yeah.
Drink for Disco Classics.
Oh, good shout.
Good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Good soundtrack. Yeah.
Definitely. Drink for Every Snort.
Oh, okay. I drink for cocaine. Absolutely. If you want to go, we do not endorse this. In fact, I would say we absolutely don't endorse this. Yeah. If you were to do a line of cocaine for every line of cocaine that is snorted in this film, you will die. I mean, that's the end of you, so don't do it.
Yeah, but, you shouldn't.
No. Drink whenever Mark Wahlberg does his Jackie Chan high kick.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That's a good one, I think, yeah. And finally, drink for time jumps. There's a lot of like jumps from like 2 years later. Like
that's true, yeah. Okay, just quickly before we get to the sequels, just want to let the listeners know that if you've enjoyed the episode, then you can support us on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset to donate as much or as little as you like. And if you do so, you get a few bonus features. Bonus features include a show called Beyond the Box Set, which is... What do? We review films in the cinema?
Yeah.
Weekly-ish. Yeah. So it's pretty much just like getting an extra episode of Beyond the Box Set every single week.
Indeed. It's a bit shorter, though, but yeah.
Yeah. Another feature you get is every month we get one of our patrons on the show to come and bring your favourite film or whatever film you want to talk about, you want to pitch sequels to. Or if you don't want to come on, you can just tell us what to do, we'll do it. That's
how it works.
That's how that works. Sorry, I've been writing about porn. It's been my brain's all over the place right now.
But yes, if you have a film that you would particularly like us to cover, then once a month, we will invite one of you to come on and to tell us a film that we can cover on the main show. If you would like to join us, you are more than welcome. If you don't want to, that's fine. We'll just tell us the film and we'll talk about it instead, in your honour. So yeah. And
then also we do advertise our Patreons a little bit. So if you're a patron who has something that you want to advertise, can be your own podcast, your own business, somebody else's podcast, or just a thing that you like. Whatever you want to advertise, you can talk about it on our main show for 30 seconds once every month, I guess.
Yes.
That's it. Every patron gets to do that. So, yeah. All that is available at patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Indeed.
Hi, I'm Lee, and I host Connected Hearts, a Kingdom Hearts fan community podcast. Each episode, a guest and I talk about the game series and the fantastic community surrounding it. From artists to streamers, cosplayers, and podcasters, we talk about how a dog, a duck, and a boy in silly shorts teaches us that our friends are our power. You can find the show on iTunes or grab the RSS feed from Twitter for the podcatcher of your choice, at Podcast Hearts. And hey, may your heart be your guiding key.
Okay, sequels.
Very excited for this.
Guess that I'm going first, aren't I?
You, of course, are going first, yeah.
So, this one, I came up with an idea that was kind of like it was the base of an idea. Okay. But I just needed somebody to just sort of do the filling. So I dipped into listener submissions and found something perfect.
Okay.
And hopefully you'll like it. So this is going to be a mockumentary.
Nice, okay, yeah.
A mockumentary film, which is going to start off with handheld footage of Dirk Diggler in his house introducing himself.
Okay. So this is a mockumentary starring Dirk Diggler, that's the format?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So he's introducing himself to the camera, like, I'm Dirk Diggler, I'm a porn star.
So it starts with, "Hi, my name is Dirk Diggler. You may remember me from some of the best pornos of the 70s and 80s.
What year is this set in, sorry?
Present day.
Oh, so he's now in, like, his 60s? Well, it's set in the 70s, it was filmed in the 90s, so Dirk Diggler would be... Like, Mark Wahlberg's, like, 50 now. Mm-hmm. Dirk Diggler would be, like, 70.
Oh, sorry, I see. Well, it's set 20 years later.
Okay, so it's set in the 90s.
Sorry, yeah.
So Dirk Diggler is probably in his 50s.
Yeah.
Sure. So the age Mark Wahlberg is. Now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I've messed up a little bit there.
That's all right. I'm here to help. That's fine.
So yeah, he says, "Hi, my name is Dirk Diggler. You may remember me from some of the best pornos of the 70s and 80s. Because the man is trying to take my house away from me," he says while holding up an eviction notice.
Oh no.
"I've decided to return to the world of porn. I'm going to revolutionise the modern porn industry by giving it the old Dirk Diggler spin. Just watch. This is going to be the most erotic, the most mysterious, and the most best ever TV show you'll ever jerk off to. You won't be able to look away."
Oh, I need to reposition myself. Continue.
Fade to black, and we get a title card with the title. And it's going to be Dirk Diggler's Hole-istic Detective Agency.
Ooh, I like it.
So the first part of this documentary will be documenting Dirk and Reed, which is John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
Dirk and Reed finding everyone and convincing them to join their crew and help make the TV show.
Okay, so trying to make a TV show of what is this TV show? So
it's a detective TV. It's a pornographic detective TV show.
Oh, so they're revamping the old TV show that they were making in the...
I guess, yeah.
Okay, sure, yeah.
In a way. So the first stop is going to be Amber, which is Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
She is now working as a school teacher.
Okay.
Teaching drama.
Sure.
I
love that. Imagine if you... Just think back to your school days. Imagine if your drama teacher was a former porn star.
Be the best drama teacher ever.
Well, maybe, yeah. Imagine finding that out.
I mean, John, maybe I have. Who knows? She is now working as a school teacher, teaching drama. They take her out to a club, get her good and drunk, take a few lines with her, and then Dirk gives her the whole sales pitch for the show.
Sure.
Similar to what he just gave to us. And without even knowing the plot, as it is not yet written, she agrees to co-star with him as his detective sidekick.
Oh, I feel like Amber's not, in your version, Amber's not really come a long way since the end of the first film.
Probably not, no.
Oh, bless. Okay, sure.
Now, they also need somebody to fund it, pretty much, and maybe
Sure.
direct it or produce it if they would like. So they track down Jack Horner, Burt Reynolds.
You know Burt Reynolds is dead.
Is he? Cool, okay. Well, they track down somebody.
Tom Selleck?
There we go. Yeah,
sure. They look the same.
Okay, sure. They track down Jack Horner, played by Tom Selleck, to come out of retirement and direct it.
Sure.
But Jack declines, saying that he doesn't think he has it in him. His time has passed for this sort of thing, but he's in full support as he considers half of his fortune to be made by Dirk Diggler movies. So he agrees to fund the show.
Okay.
So the final person they need to get the show going is going to be the villain of the piece.
Sure.
So they go and find Buck, which was Don Cheadle's character.
Oh, great, okay.
Bring him in. He now runs a very successful chain of sound system retailers.
Good.
So successful that as the CEO, he doesn't really have many responsibilities anymore. He's passed most of that on. He's close to a nice, clean retirement.
Yeah.
So he thinks, yeah, I'm up for this. This sounds like a bit of stupid fun. I mean, I don't care. I don't need the money or anything, but yeah, I'll do this. Be great. And so now the only thing they need is the plot.
Yes, okay.
This is what you're waiting for. So for this, we're going to get multiple sessions of Dirk and Reed just brainstorming different ideas before landing on a holistic detective series where the main character...
I'm guessing this is based on Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, right?
No, it's a brand new sort of thing.
Okay.
So where the main character, Richard Thruster...
Nice, yeah, subtle. I like it.
Played by Dirk Diggler himself.
Is
a retired porn star who needs to come out of retirement to go back into porn to solve the sex crimes of the evil Dusty Dangerous.
Dusty Dangerous.
Played by Buck Swope, which is
Don Cheadle. Yeah.
He's essentially a holistic detective. Holistic being something that analyses everything, like many different elements that all connect.
Yes.
Who is one of a kind.
Sorry, this isn't based on Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Well, that wasn't what was in the... Was that what was in the film?
No, this is a separate TV show.
Yeah.
There is a TV show called Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
Ah, cool. Well, this is what I've adapted from a listener submission, so I don't really know.
Oh my god, that's brilliant. So you didn't realise that Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency was a real thing?
Nah, I screwed up, haven't I?
I mean, not screwed up, but I love that you've written the whole thing without realising where it comes from.
Cool.
Okay.
I only half listened to anything.
Carry on.
Well, let's just wait and see what I've written, shall we? Okay. So he's essentially a...
How much of this is you and how much of this is the listener submission?
I can read out the listener submission if you like.
Well, no, finish your own idea first.
Okay. Well, we'll see. This next paragraph should highlight to you. He is essentially a detective who is one of a kind. He doesn't just interrogate people verbally, but also physically.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
Using his magic cock to read the minds of the people he interrogates.
Okay. Interesting.
Is that original or is that me? That one sounds like me.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I can buy that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
see? From here on out, it's all me.
It's all you. Cool.
Yeah. I'm not proud. To help him out is his trusted sidekick, which is Bella O'Job.
Bella O'Job. Oh, great. Okay.
Which is going to be Amber Waves, Julianne Moore.
Okay.
Who has been endowed with a similar gift, which requires men to come inside her to spill their secrets.
Nice, okay.
The two of them, they really shag their way around the porn community, finding out more and more information about the evil sexual antics that have been carried out by Dusty Dangerous.
Okay.
The sexiest cowboy to have ever walked the streets of LA.
Right.
Don Cheadle's now playing a sexy cowboy.
Okay, that's a good role for him.
I think that works in this.
That absolutely does. That's very on brand for him in this one, yeah.
By the way, I've completely lost the mockumentary thing now, and I've just gone straight into this.
Okay, sure, yeah.
In a mid-season twist, Richard Thruster walks in on Bella O'Job sleeping with Dusty Dangerous himself.
Mm-hmm.
This leads to a big row in which Richard accuses her of sleeping with the enemy, and Bella claims that she did it to find out his deepest and darkest secrets.
Okay.
We, the viewers, are not supposed to be sure whose side she's actually on, and she refuses to reveal his deepest secret to Richard Thruster.
So Julianne Moore's character is a double agent at this point, essentially.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Who knows? Okay.
We genuinely don't know. This leads Richard onto an even deeper journey to try and work out what she knows, and so he has to seduce her and sleep with her himself.
He's never done that before.
Apparently not.
They've never slept together before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, by doing so, will reveal the one thing that he doesn't want her to know.
Okay.
That's why they've never slept together, because then they'll know everything about each other.
Oh, sure. So, sorry, what's it? So her thing is that when a guy comes in her...
She knows everything about him.
And what's his thing?
Pretty much the same thing, just when he sleeps with somebody that he finds out everything about them.
Okay.
So they have the same power.
So they have so if they slept together, they would have all the knowledge in the universe?
They just know everything each other knows.
Okay, sure.
So they shag for an uncomfortably long time,
Okay.
let's put it, as neither of them wants to actually come and reveal their secret to each other.
Okay. We've all been there.
Eventually, Richard Thruster can't hold on any longer, and he climaxes in ecstasy at the same time as Bella O'Job does the same.
What, they come at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
Get married.
Yeah. Maybe they do.
Okay.
She reveals that Dusty Dangerous is in fact her lover, and they've been trying to monopolise the porn industry.
Okay.
Richard Thruster's secret is that he has also been sleeping with Dusty Dangerous.
Ooh, a
for
gay
the same
subplot.
purpose.
I'm excited, okay.
Oof. With this new information that they have both now received, and essentially all cards are on the table, the two of them both go to Dusty and confront him with the fact that Dusty's been playing both sides.
Mm.
Dusty Dangerous sweet talks and bargains with them, saying that he will explain everything to them if they just sleep with him one more time.
Remind me, who's playing Dusty Dangerous?
Don Cheadle.
Okay, great, sure.
Cowboy Don Cheadle.
I get it, okay.
And so, of course, they have an orgy.
Okay, good old freeway, yeah.
Yeah, where Dusty reveals that his dong has the ability to get people to do what he wants.
Is it like a hypnotic dong?
I guess so, yes.
Just imagine like E.T.'s finger or something.
The tip close.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so the orgy finishes, and while they're all having a bit of a cuddle afterwards...
Aww. You have a very sweet-natured idea of how orgies work. When it ends, everyone does a nice cuddle. Bless.
Sure, is that not? No? Okay. Dusty Dangerous proposes that the three of them rule the porn industry together. In unison, Richard Thruster and Bella O'Job say, "Anything you want, Dusty." And the film finishes with a "to be continued."
Okay.
And that's pretty much the film there.
Okay.
I've not then finished off the sort of mockumentary side of it.
Okay.
But maybe that can just be ignored, because I feel like I wrote a pretty good porno there, so let's just carry on.
You wrote good. I would like it if it ended like Game of Thrones. Like, where it was like a...
Oof.
Who now rules the pornoverse? Let's have a very long, episode-long debate about that.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
So, remind me the beginning of it, where the mockumentary thing came in.
So the beginning of it is just kind of like a Mark Wahlberg and John C. Reilly in what I would guess is more of a disaster artist kind of way, making a film.
Okay. Well, actually, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
This ties up quite nicely, because we have had a very similar idea this week.
Oh, right, okay.
So I actually think the bit that you've chosen to focus on is the bit that I have chosen not to focus on. So I think actually, I will read out my story and then you will see that they both actually coincide quite nicely. So I think maybe the bits that you've done will slot in quite well with the bits that I've done. So, my story, my sequel, is set in 2014, 30 years after the endpoint of the original movie, which ended in 1984.
Okay.
I've just chosen 2014 over 2019 purely for aging reasons, because this film was obviously set in the 70s and was filmed in the 90s, and obviously Mark Wahlberg, Julianne Moore, John C. Reilly, etc. are a fair bit older, but they're not 40 years older. So
yeah, I mean, initially with my idea before you brought to my attention that it can't be set present day if I'm doing like a, you know,
it could, but they'd all be like much older.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to have lots of references to the TV show. It's going to be on Netflix. There's going to be inspiration from 50 Shades of Grey and My Dad Wrote a Porno. And
Sure, yeah.
Glow was going to be a thing for a while.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, so I think Mark Wahlberg was playing like 5 years older than he actually was, like, you know, at the beginning of the film, which is reasonable. But if you make him play like 15 years older than he actually was, or 10 years older, that's more of a stretch. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's 2014, 30 years after the original film ended. The characters have all retired from porn, obviously, because they're like middle-aged now. Dirk Diggler moved into producing and directing, and eventually he took over from Jack Horner after the latter died. So Jack Horner's just died of old age. Now, obviously, you know, he was quite old in the 70s. He's not going to still be alive in 2014.
Yeah.
So he has died of old age, and Dirk Diggler has moved on to take over control of his kind of porn empire.
Yeah.
However, with the advent of amateur online porn, the bottom fell out of the industry. No pun intended. And so he retired, and is now living a fairly quiet life in California.
Okay.
Yeah. Little does he know, however, that while the internet has effectively killed off the porn industry, it's also put a lot of his old videos back into the public domain via like YouTube and XTube and all that kind of stuff. So in particular, the Brocklanders and Chester Rockwell movies that he made with John C. Reilly have now become beloved cult classics. They're often featured on So Bad It's Good movie reruns, and also on podcasts. And they're championed by lovers of bad taste cinema like Seth Rogen and Kevin Smith.
Okay,
yeah. So I'm thinking that's basically like The Room. Like, because if you look at the footage of those like films,
are you going to pitch an episode for the podcast How Did This Get Made?
No, I'm not. I'm just pitching a world in which that's the kind of world in which these films are being rediscovered.
Yep, sure.
But no, it's not that. So he's not aware. Dirk Diggler is
porn podcasts. Podcasts that just review porn.
If not, we should.
Where we talked about this already, kind of.
Yeah. Eggplantpod.com.
Yeah.
We're going to launch it. It's going to be
Juicy
great.
tomatoes.
Cheese and tomato. Cheese and tomato. That's a
Juicy
sandwich.
tomatoes, I said, not cheese and tomatoes.
That's a flavour of crisps. Come on. We could do a crisps podcast as well if you want. What would you be more comfortable with?
I mean, probably porn. I reckon there's more to talk about.
We'll discuss.
We won't.
Anyway, he's not aware of this because he's obviously, he's in his 60s. He doesn't really follow the social medias, etc. But one day, he gets a call from John C. Reilly's character, Reed Rothwell, who tells him that their old movies have become viral sensations. Reed, by the way, is now working in Vegas, still doing a semi-successful raunchy magician act. Because you remember at the end of the first film, we didn't talk about that. That was great. We forgot, the film ends with a great montage of where the characters end up, and John C. Reilly maybe has the best one, where he's basically doing a magic act but with tits, and it was great. So it'll be like he'll do the woman locked in a box trick, and then it pulls out, and the woman's just like her boobs spill out.
Yeah,
and he's like, whoa. So I say semi-successful because I don't want it to be like he's become like Penn and Teller or like one of the big magical stars. He's still doing low rent to an audience of maybe 3 people.
Yeah,
he's making a living out of it, but it's not. He's not a star. So that's what he's been doing for the past 30 years. So he's really keen to get back out on the road and start cashing in on their newfound fame now that their old videos have become viral sensations. So he calls up Dirk and tells Dirk, look, the old Brock and Chest films have got this new audience and they're showing them all over the country. Why don't you come to one of the screenings and do a Q&A session? It'd be great. It'd be fun. So he talks Dirk into that, and he goes to one of the screenings. They both together go to one of these screenings. And I'm imagining it's a lot like screenings of The Room, where there's drinking games and people just laughing and throwing spoons. That's the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah.
It's that kind of real So Bad It's Good thing. Anyway, Dirk goes to this screening, sees the audience reacting the way that they do, and gets quite upset, and ends up storming out. Because he obviously took those films very seriously. So I have some dialogue. Would you like to be Dirk or Reed?
This feels like a lose-lose answer. Dirk.
You'll be Dirk?
I'll be Dirk.
Are you 14-inch Dirk, yeah? Okay.
Well, feels like it suits me. Okay. This is bullshit, man. Did you hear them in there? They're laughing at us.
Dirk, cool it. They're just having a good time.
It's goddamn disrespectful. These movies aren't a joke, they're art. They're disrespecting me, and they're disrespecting Jack.
So this is going to be Dirk coming to terms with his new reputation, with the new reputation that his films are receiving. Much like, I would imagine, the stars of films. Like, I'm sure it took, what's his face from The Room?
Tommy Wiseau?
Tommy Wiseau. I'm sure it took him a bit of time to kind of come to terms with the fact that he'd made a terrible film. He thought he made a good film.
Yeah.
Now, of course, it's the bread and butter. So it's like that. It's like Dirk Diggler realising that he's like the father of like bad movies now. Eventually he comes around to it, and an offer comes through, and this is where our ideas kind of dovetail quite neatly. An offer comes through to shoot a documentary for the first ever DVD release of the old movies.
Okay.
So the documentary is going to bring back all of the old stars as like talking heads. So I figured like Amber Waves, I didn't say she got become a teacher, that seems like a stretch. They do background checks. But I feel like she finally got clean.
I mean, in mind, she could have been like a university teacher or something. Like, how many background checks do you need?
What, do you think it's easier to be a university teacher than a school teacher?
No, but I'm saying if you've got a slightly dodgy background of being in porn.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer. Could be. So Amber has finally got clean. She's reconciled with her son, and she's used her porn star earnings to go back to college and become a successful therapist.
Okay.
Because I think she'd be a very good therapist because she's
good point,
very
yeah.
she has a lot of empathy. She's kind. She likes to take care of people. So yeah, Roller Girl is now a star in her own right. After a video emerged of her being urinated on by the current president of the United States. Yeah, she's our Stormy Daniels, basically. Yeah. Don Cheadle's character, Buck, left the porn industry permanently and now runs a franchise of cowboy-themed music stores. So, similar to your idea. I couldn't figure out what to do with Philip Seymour Hoffman, Scotty. Is it rude to recast him? Because he is dead.
I mean, no, it's not. It's not rude to do so. I don't believe.
Who could replace PSH?
I nearly was going to recast him, but then I realised that I had nothing for him to actually do, so what's the point? But I was going to say Matt Damon.
Wow, burn on Matt Damon.
In what way?
I mean, Fat Damon could do it.
I mean, Matt Damon's
a bit chubby, but
yeah, yeah.
Sure, okay. I would love that. I would love if Matt Damon was just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I think Matt Damon, from his more recent roles, I think he's kind of said goodbye to the sort of Jason Bourne look.
Sure. But like, think of how Philip Seymour Hoffman looks in this film. Can you imagine Matt Damon in a film where he's just got like a massive belly just hanging out, just like... I mean, I'd love it. I would find that very entertaining.
Of course you would, yeah.
Yes.
But, yeah, I wouldn't see Matt Damon say no to that necessarily.
Okay.
Like,
if that's Matt Damon's career trajectory from now on, I'm on board. I like that.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Sure, okay, fine.
Matt Damon. What's the last film you saw him in? Like, most recent film, most recent release?
I think it was Suburbicon or Downsizing, whichever came first.
Yeah, like both of those.
He wasn't like fat in those though.
No, he wasn't fat, but like
he was like schlubby. Yeah.
Yeah. It was just a little bit overweight, and I could see him definitely just getting a little bit more overweight, and you know, maybe at his age, he'd be like, oh, thank God, I don't need to keep up some kind of regime.
Okay, sure. And I guess they were friends back in the day. They were both in Mr. Ripley and stuff. So.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody wishes that somebody would just pay them a good lump of money to just be fat.
Sure.
Imagine that. Just eat everything you want.
Yeah.
And get paid for it.
Yeah. I mean, some people do it for free.
It's less fun, though. Also, fuck you.
Anyway, where was I? So, okay, so to be honest, I didn't have a lot for Scotty, for the Matt Damon character, for the Philip Seymour Hoffman character, who I guess is now Matt Damon. I was thinking, like, I mean, what do you think happened with that character?
I don't know. Like, really,
I hope he had a happy ending.
Really, I'd like to think that he just went away and like had learned what he learned and just learned more about himself.
Yeah.
Really, and then became comfortable being who he was.
Yeah. So maybe he doesn't appear in this documentary then. Maybe he like got married and left the industry, and now he lives with his husband on the East Coast with like 3 dogs, and he's fine.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah. So maybe it's just actually that's good. So you don't need to bring him back for like loads. There's just a tiny cameo of Matt Damon now with a giant beer belly for some reason, just walking dogs on the beach looking happy. Great, fine.
Yeah.
He had a happy ending. Good for him.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a tiny cameo, you may as well just CGI it or whatever.
So anyway, yeah, that it reunites the characters. And the documentary and DVD release are so successful that a small studio actually commissions Dirk and Reed for a straight to Netflix or straight to Amazon reboot of the Brocklanders and Chester Rockwell franchise. So they're now making another film.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I specify a small streaming service. So I don't want this to be like, oh, Hollywood's calling, giving them like $100 million to make a movie. Because I feel like the whole thing of the original film, it's important that they're like big fish in a tiny little pond. Like the porn industry is not Hollywood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I want it to stay that way. It's not like they've had this massive Hollywood comeback. They're literally getting paid a few $1,000s to make another one of these films just for a few shits and giggles.
Yeah.
But anyway, for them it's a big deal. So they're going to make a new reunion film of Brocklanders and Chester Rockwell.
Yes.
So the film is going to end, much like the first film, on set for this new reboot. We're going to have Dirk Diggler on set, wearing a terrible wig, obviously, giving himself a motivational speech in the mirror, doing his Jackie Chan moves, as he prepares to go out and film his comeback movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need him to get his cock out or not. I don't think that's relevant particularly. I mean, it could.
I think it's thematic.
Thematic, just it ends with him, but it's like 30 years later, so it's a bit, you know, it's grey pubes, it's a bit wrinkly. It's not really as impressive. But I think the end credit should definitely feature clips from the movie. So yeah. I mean, it'd be a fun way for like John C. Reilly and Mark Wahlberg to make fun of themselves, just as they are now in their like middle age, just doing like high kicks and karate. And, like,
yeah, I feel like they're both at that stage in their careers.
Definitely. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Brocklanders and Chester Rockwell reunited or something. I don't know. Not the best title ever.
The Brock and Chester reunion.
The Brock and Chester reunion, yeah, sure.
Yeah. I like it.
What was your title again?
Mine, although written by a listener, was Dirk Diggler's Hole-istic Dicktective Agency.
Hole-istic Dicktective. Okay, that's definitely going to be our title for the podcast. Great. Cool. Hole-istic Dicktective Agency. Love it.
Yeah. Okay, now before I do actually reveal the listener who helped me with this submission and then go into main listener submissions, I would like to just point out, or let you know, I did a post online about just coming up with porn actor names, porn character names, and there were a lot of responses.
I'm sure there were.
Like, a lot. So you may have to do some editing. I'm just loading them all now. I've got to press view more comments multiple times, and I'll read them out nice and quickly, and you can have a good laugh at them. Okay, so we're starting off slow. We've got Lance Manuel. Yeah. Dick Rambone.
Okay, sure.
Rambart Gently.
Okay.
Big Dan Wood.
Okay.
Jizzy Fingers.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Why Okay, I want to unpack that one a little bit. Why would it be Jizzy Fingers? Who has Jizzy Fingers?
I don't know.
Like, are you jizzing into your hands? Oh no, I've got Jizzy Fingers. Right,
I'm not sure. Maybe, yes.
They're your submissions.
I didn't write them, though.
Okay, go on.
Cat Takewell.
Cat Takewell. And that sounds like it's implying some bestiality that I don't want to endorse on this podcast.
Maybe. This one's a really good one, actually. Okay. Benefit Custard Snatch.
I mean, I like the pun on his name, but again, what does that mean?
I don't know. But it just
Benefit Custard Snatch.
It just sounds
like, is that a snatch filled with custard? Is that?
And that's the benefit.
Is that appealing?
What? No, I don't know.
Custard.
Move on. Don't look too deeply into porn names. That's my life advice.
Okay, sure.
Greg Grower.
Okay, yeah, sure.
As opposed to his rival, Sid Shower.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that's a good duo.
Anil Felchingsum.
Do you know what felching is?
No. Yes.
Oh, really? You do? Have you ever tried it?
Oh, in that case, no, I don't know what it is.
Do you or don't you?
I guess not, no.
What did you think it meant?
I'm not going to say.
No, please.
I'm not getting into this.
No, Harry,
I'm not getting into
this. I need to know what you think felching is.
I'm getting mixed up with something else. Yeah, no, I don't know.
What did you think it was?
No, I'm not.
Harry, just say it.
No.
Well, at some point we're going to talk about it, offline or on, but fine.
Sure. Next one is Dusty Dangerous, which is one that I may have used.
You may have used, yeah, sure.
Chesty LaRue.
Yes, that's classic porn, yeah.
Manuel Hung.
Yes, okay, now we're getting into it. Now this is more like it, yeah.
Phil Bottom.
Yeah?
Which
is that suggested by Phil Better by any chance?
It's not, but it's what I propose we do now call him. We've also got Phil McCracken. Which is an alternative name there. Clive Max.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
Randy Antics. Not sure if that
I don't know, that sounds like a good porn name, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Juz the Tip.
Yes.
This one's a really good one. Ross Burton gave us this one. Roger Moore.
Okay, yeah, that's classic porn. Yeah,
Standard.
Ross has gone for like an old school porn.
Yeah. Bend Over.
Of course.
It wouldn't be complete without that. Dixie Wrecked.
Oh, Dixie Wrecked. Oh, nice, yeah. I like that, yeah.
Hugh G. Rection.
I mean, yeah, it's that works.
Willie Cream.
Is that like question mark?
Yeah. Adam Handler.
Yeah.
Willie Thumper.
Mm-hmm.
Rusty Walker.
Again, what? That just sounds like an old person with mobility problems.
Russ Moynihan, if you remember from our La La Land
How could I
episode.
forget? Yeah.
Richarding Gently But Firmly.
That's good. I like that. That's good, yeah.
Let's see. Jack Mehoff.
If you insist.
Harry Chappell.
Well, yes.
Connor Lingus.
That's good. I like that. Conolingus, yeah.
And to finish, Sally Squatwell.
To finish off with Sally Squatwell. Nice, okay.
So there's that. I guess that's our very thematic alternate listener submissions. But
wow, yeah.
To get onto the real listener submissions.
Uh-huh.
So Lucas Barker says Boogie Bites.
Boogie Bites.
It's
okay.
pretty much the same, but with zombies.
Oh, I like it. Boogie Bites. It's like zombie porn.
I guess, yeah.
Okay, I'm on board with that. I like that. Yeah.
You on board with zombie porn? Weirdo.
That'd be fun. This film, but the entire cast are undead. Who wouldn't want that?
Sure. Maximilian Duke says there's already plenty of sequels already on the internet.
I guess, inarguably, yeah. Sure.
Yep. Makes good sense. And then the idea which I adapted is from James McLean.
Mm-hmm.
And of course he's titled it Dirk Diggler's Hole-istic Dicktective Agency.
Yeah. I love that you didn't pick up on what that was referencing.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
He says, the premise, I don't know, retired porn star solves sex crimes using his giant magic dong or something. And I'm quoting exactly. And at the end of the movie, he literally comes out of retirement because he had to go undercover as the porn star he used to be. I can't imagine he'd be a good detective because from memory, Dirk had brick-level IQ.
Oh, okay.
That's what he's got.
Okay.
So, yeah, those are my listener submissions. What have you got?
Okay. I have Adam Capitanio said Boogie Days.
Yes.
Matt Hanley said Twoogie Nights.
Sure.
There's two ways to do it. You could do two Oogie Nights or TW Oogie Nights.
Yes.
Either works.
Very good.
Ross Ide says, an aging Dirk partners with a young computer nerd and they pioneer online porn in the 90s. Which, I could see that working. Like him trying to adapt to porn in the 90s.
Yeah.
Tyler Petty said Electric Boogaloo. Boogie Nights 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, that works. Yeah. Okay.
Stephen Brogy said a Reed Rothschild spin-off, that's the John C. Reilly character, where he is making his own mediocre porn parodies of Disney movies. His world is turned upside down when his newest film, Fuck It Ralph, is stolen via the internet by the very characters he's spoofing. So that's the previously unexpected Wreck-It Ralph Boogie Nights crossover movie.
Yeah.
Because obviously John C. Reilly voices Wreck-It Ralph. And,
Yeah.
John Scruffini said Bingo Nights, present day. Dirk Diggler has moved into a Florida retirement home with nothing but his old wardrobe and a trunk full of porno awards to his name. Will he still have what it takes to fuck his way to the top of the resident food and beverage committee? So, yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Will Buckingham said Boogie Nights 2. If you thought video killed porn, here's the internet. Jason Ritterstein said Boogie Nights, a wedding and 4 cast funerals. Oh, because that's kind of sad. Yeah, a lot of people in this film have died. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah. Scott Hillman said he would really like to see a version of this film that was genuinely about how the porn industry evolved in the 90s when the advent of video and then subsequently the internet changed the way it was made. So
yeah,
I think that'd be actually a very good, interesting way to look at it. Like all the people who made millions of dollars from like actual porno movies suddenly had to adapt to the fact that most people were accessing porn for free. So that could work very well. Stephen Jones says Dirk Diggler is in Jack Corner's room after Jack asks him to grab a lens for some pickup shots they're working on at his pool. He sees what he thinks is a sex toy, but when out of curiosity he picks it up and turns it on, a blade of pure green light appears and protrudes out of it. Jack hears the sound and knows what just happened and enters the room to confuse Dirk. So Dirk says, "What's this?" And then Jack says, "Dirk, sit down. We have a lot to talk about." Title: Boogie Nights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
It's a Jedi movie.
Yep, okay. Very good.
Mike Carey said Boogie Nights. Jack from Halloween Town is bored with life again and discovers the world of porn films with disastrous results. So that's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And finally, Joseph J. Finn said, the year is 2019. Roller Girl has been killing it as the head of an alt porn studio, but piracy has been really cutting into her profits and she needs to find a way to shift her business model to stay ahead of internet pirates and thieves. So she teams up with her old friend Amber Waves. And it's a story of a feminist duo of retired porn stars just trying to figure out how the industry works in a post-internet age.
Oh, okay.
That could be really interesting. I would like a film with those two characters. I thought they had a good relationship.
That's a really good idea, actually.
Yeah.
That'd be very good.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're done. So, this film had a lot of actors. Did this film change your opinion about any actors in this film or make you realise anything about any of them? Or?
It's the first film that showed me that John C. Reilly can actually...
Be Finn?
Well, that he can actually do stuff that's more than just
serious,
comedy with Will
yes.
Ferrell. I mean, this isn't entirely serious for him. Like, his role in it is...
Comedic, yeah.
Is largely comedic, yeah. But he can actually do something. Same with Mark Wahlberg, particularly so.
Yeah.
Like, before this, I just thought Mark Wahlberg was pretty much just an action star.
Yeah. No, this is one of the best Mark Wahlberg performances ever. I think it's a crime he wasn't nominated for an Oscar for this. I think he is phenomenal in this film.
Yeah. I don't feel like I learned anything about Julianne Moore in this.
Because you already knew she was great.
Yeah, like, she's been this great in other films.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got, really.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm very glad I've seen this film.
I'm really pleased that you...
I will happily watch this again.
I'm really pleased that you enjoyed this, because I wasn't sure. It could have gone either way, but yeah. Good.
Actually, I think this is my first time I've seen Don Cheadle in a non-Marvel film.
Really? You've never seen him not in Marvel?
I think so.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, we should definitely do more Don Cheadle, because he's great.
Yeah.
And I feel like this film is a good example of why he's great.
Yes.
I really enjoyed him in this. Anyway, so it's you next week.
Yes, so speaking of Marvel or non-Marvel or something...
we are not doing the Avengers for our next film.
No, it's against our rules. So we are not going to do so. However, we are going to do a film starring one of my favourite actors.
Robert Downey Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Nominated for an Oscar.
Are we doing Chaplin?
Nope. The other nomination he got.
I can't remember what other nomination he got.
We are doing a film called Tropic Thunder.
Oh, okay.
I've not seen this. I've seen comments about it online.
Sure.
I might have seen the occasional little clip or something.
I had forgotten that this was a thing.
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to watching this, just to see what it is.
Okay.
I genuinely have no idea what it is, other than just vaguely a war movie with a bit of comedy.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know.
No, that's a good call.
So yeah,
I am very excited for that. Yeah.
So yeah, next week we'll be doing Tropic Thunder. In the meantime, John, where can they find us?
Okay, so yeah, if you've enjoyed this episode, you've just heard our sequels to Boogie Nights. If you have any sequel ideas for Boogie Nights or any films we've done in the past, please let us know. We are Beyond the Box Set. You can find us at beyondtheboxset.com. Our podcast is available on all good podcasting platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. You name it, we're on it. If we're not on it, let us know and we will get on it. You can also contact us via Twitter, Instagram or Facebook by searching Beyond the Box Set or at Beyond the Box Set for Twitter. And we're also available on patreon.com. Just go to patreon.com/Beyond the Box Set. And we have exclusive merchandise available at tpublic.com/Beyond the Box Set. And finally, we are a proud member of the Pave Media Podcasting Network. If you are a podcaster looking to connect with fellow podcasters and grow your audience, just go to pavemedia.net and to find out more details about how we can help you out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it.
That's it, yeah. You've changed the order up a little bit by making me announce what film we're doing first.
Sorry, you're right. That was not intentional.
Yeah,
it worked. So, yeah, join us next week for Tropic Thunder. Good call, Harry. I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
Yeah.
Great. See you next week, guys.
See you next week.
Bye.
This is a giant cock.